Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, The Mycologist Bud. I am so freaking excited to finally start making videos for you guys, and I thought what better way to start off the video than by just quickly giving you guys a little bit of information about me. Like, why should we listen to this guy talking to us about growing mushrooms, right? So a little bit about myself is that I am currently 20 years old. I have been studying mushrooms since quarantine in 2020, and I have devoted most of my free time towards learning how to grow different plants, how to grow mushrooms, the best tips and tricks, how to do it for the cheapest way possible for the best results. I have grown pretty successfully pounds of mushrooms, and it's awesome. My sister has made some awesome lion's mane lobster pasta. It is so amazing. But guys, I am going to admit I am a bit nervous to be making this video. I am not so used to speaking to a microphone or talking to an audience, but I will try my best to teach you guys how to grow your own mushrooms and remind you guys as to why it's something important. So, my opinion on why growing mushrooms is important is because of several different things, right? So, first we have how synthetic everything is in around the world nowadays. Everything is sprayed with chemicals and pesticides, and it's fake. It's not organic. That's not good for our health. Like that can't be good for our health, right? So if you grow your own mushrooms, you know exactly what is going into your mushroom. You don't have to worry about all these chemicals and synthetic material being consumed. You are able to take care of your family's health, right? You can also dabble with psychedelic mushrooms, which are illegal in many places, not where I live. However, you can dabble with that, and a lot of people are able to live much better lives thanks to it. It helps with PTSD, with depression, with anxiety. So many mental issues are able to be cured or treated with psilocybin with the help of professionals. And then lastly, we have medicinal mushrooms like lion's mane, like cordyceps, turkey tail, reishi, right? They all have their own purpose and they're extremely beneficial. So, who doesn't want to grow extremely high quality mushrooms for themselves and for their family? And it's an amazing hobby, right? It's like raising a little baby. It honestly feels that way. It feels like you're raising your own baby. It's such an awesome feeling when you finally have that harvest ready at hand. But to kind of wrap that subject up and finally dive into the video, I kind of want to do something. You guys tell me your thoughts, right? So I thought, why not make an infographic style mini series where I go over all the steps on how we're going to grow mushrooms, and then I go right into another mini series where we will do a grow along, right? I want to call it that, grow along. So you guys get to grow your own mushrooms along with me. You get to actively interact with me, ask questions, and let me know what you want to see more of, what you need help with, and I will help you guys out as best as I can. So let me know what you guys think about that, and let's go ahead and get right into it. So, the first thing I want you guys to think about is your purpose when it comes to mushrooms, right? Like, for what purpose do you want to grow mushrooms for? Try to be direct, but if it's a bit unclear, take your time with it. Don't feel like it's super urgent. If you want to grow mushrooms just because it's a passion for you or you want to dabble with a new hobby, you can pretty much grow whatever you want. Genuinely, like, you will learn a lot no matter what you grow. And right, I want you guys to keep that in your mind. Just because you have a certain purpose doesn't mean you can't grow other kinds of mushrooms. You can grow every single kind of mushroom no matter what your purpose is. However, it will separate, how do you want to be more efficient? What do you want to spend your time on, right? So I find that if you want to find like peace or a change in life, you might want to experiment a little bit more with psilocybin mushrooms or nootropics. If you want to do it just for the love of it, you can use different species such as mushrooms that glow in the dark, or that you don't necessarily have to consume, that are aesthetically pleasing or have other benefits towards other organisms like plants. Or you can also do it for the money, right? Like maybe you want to start your own mushroom business, or you just want to sell it to your neighbors, something small like that. You know, you might want to grow more of culinary mushrooms that you can grow in bulk and sell at a cheaper price while still making profit. So, you know, keep that in mind throughout this mini series and on the grow along, so that you guys are able to select your spores and your liquid culture with efficiency. So some of the essentials that you're going to need for sure are a pressure cooker, mason jars, and sterile equipment, right? These are non-negotiable, guys. I promise you, I'm not lying to you. You just can't get away with growing mushrooms if you do not have these tools, right? The pressure cooker is going to be used to sterilize basically everything that you're going to be using. Your grain, your jars, your bags, your bulk substrate, everything has to go through a pressure cooker, or else you're just gonna end up growing mold or bacteria. And then we have mason jars. It's what's gonna contain your grain. It's super important. Like, you need mason jars. So I would suggest try to get a pack of like 24 mason jars. Try to make sure you get the 32 ounce with a white lid, right? Try to get for those. And then lastly, you're gonna need some sterile equipment. So gloves, mask, syringes, 70% iso. You guys are gonna hear me struggle with that word for a bit. Isopropyl alcohol. Correct me if I'm wrong, roast me. I had struggled with that word. I'm sorry. As you guys can see, English is not my first language, but you know, I'm not gonna let that stop me from teaching you guys how you can grow your own mushrooms. Now, next, your lab essentials, right? As you can see, guys, I also made, you know, these beautiful decorations for these little slideshows. So please, you know, if you like these decorations, you know, drop a like. Let me know what you think of them. It's very, very cottage core. That's what my girlfriend likes. So we're doing cottage core. So these are our lab essentials. For our lab essentials, you're going to need grain. So I like to use brown rice. It works amazing. It's easy to work with and it's super cheap. A spore syringe to select your mushroom genetics. If you're going to be growing psilocybin mushrooms, you are probably going to have to be working with a spore syringe. If you're going to be growing any other kind of mushroom, you can get away with liquid culture, which I absolutely love. It's easy to work with. And many vendors will give you insurance on any syringes. So if you for some reason grow contaminated mushrooms, they will probably throw in a syringe for free. You're going to need a still air box for your lab because you want to make sure you have a clean workspace. So I will actually make a video in the near future on how you can make your own still air box for very cheap. Lastly, you're going to need some microboard tape, 70% iso alcohol, a lighter, and a scalpel or a hobby knife. Now, about a month after you have those materials, you guys are going to see as I do the grow along, it's going to take about a month from then till here to this next step, but you're going to want to start making your bulk substrate, right? So for your bulk substrate, you're going to want to use a variety of substrates. I didn't mean to say that. I meant more to say you have different options to choose from. So you have straw, you have sawdust, you have cocoa core, you have vermiculite. I personally use cocoa core and hardwood fuel pellets, which is kind of similar to sawdust. They work great. I use cocoa core for my tubs, and I use sawdust or the hardwood fuel pellets for my growing bags. Then you're gonna need boiling water, a large bucket, a strainer, which is optional, and measuring tools, which I say these are a scale is definitely something that you're going to need. Now, for the fruiting stage, you are most definitely going to need grow bags or a plastic tote or a monotub. These are basically going to be the frame or your mushroom skeleton, right? This is where everything's going to be developing and then fruiting from. I find that plastic tote mushrooms, so like psilocybin mushrooms, are the easiest to grow, to be completely honest with you. I think that grow bag mushrooms tend to be a little bit more difficult, but just remember, keep in mind, psilocybin mushrooms are illegal where I live, and they may not be legal in your area. So you need to make sure you look into your country's jurisdiction, their laws, and hold yourself accountable, because I am not suggesting you grow them, okay? Now, you're gonna need a spray bottle or a humidifier. If you're growing mushrooms in plastic tote bags, a spray bottle works perfectly fine. However, if you're gonna use grow bags, or you live in a very dry environment, definitely go for a humidifier. It'll be super worth it. And then lastly, you're gonna need a small fan, a light source, and a thermometer and a hygrometer. I think out of those last three things, definitely try to go for the hygrometer and the thermometer, especially if you're using grow bags. But if you are not, you don't really need these things in my opinion, the last three. So now these are your optional materials. You can get agar plates, nitrile gloves, a timer, a grow log or journal, a dehydrator, or pH strips. Now, out of all these things, I would say stick with the nitrile gloves and dehydrator if you can. If you don't, it's not the end of the world. These are optional again. But we're gonna kind of wrap up that video right here, guys. It's gonna be short and sweet. You know, if you guys have any suggestions or questions or ideas, drop them down below in the comments. Please drop a like. It means the world to me. And if you wanna, come along for the grow along, feel free to subscribe, and I'll be very interactive with you guys to make sure we all get some nice mushrooms at the end of it. But make sure you stay tuned for the next video, and I love you guys and much love. Peace out.